So if you're a student and you want to sort of classify what came from the Prophet ﷺ, you got the Quran, right? So that was a direct revelation, which was exactly recorded and memorized as it was uttered. The second is the sayings of the Prophet ﷺ. Third is the actions, and fourth is approvals. Meaning, you got like, for example, the Prophet ﷺ woke up in the morning and he went to sleep at night, right? And he ate and he walked and he prayed salat and he went for Hajj and he would, perform, certain actions maybe in the battlefield or at home, whatever. So these actions and approvals would be things that he saw in the community that were done and didn't rebuke them. And this is considered to also be important because as a prophet, the Prophet ﷺ would not be allowed to stay silent on anything that was against Islam, against the teachings of Allah in the community. Anything that happened that was against the teachings of Allah, he had to speak up against it. This is part of the mission of the Prophet ﷺ. However, from all of this, I've drawn like a little pie chart over here. The red part represents the sayings. So only a fraction of the sayings of the Prophet ﷺ were actually recorded, right? They were like written down or passed down through memory. A vast majority were not. So you got 23 years of life as the Messenger ﷺ. How many things did he say? Must have been lots. How many statements, how many people did he speak to? He must have addressed large audiences. He must have addressed his family members. He must have addressed companions. He must have addressed the enemies. All sorts of statements you can imagine. But from this, only a fraction has actually been passed down to us from the narrations. So this brings us to the issue of Umar bin Abdul Aziz now. So Umar bin Abdul Aziz, he was roughly, if you remember the first slide I showed you with the timeline, he roughly came in the 90 years after the Prophet ﷺ. He was a Khalifa for 2 years only, roughly in the year 100. So he saw the problem of Sahaba dying, and with Sahaba dying, you've got like basically a university dying, right? Each Sahabi was basically a university. And with every university, you got a whole library that's just dying. And he realized that if we don't address this now, what's going to happen is we're going to be left with a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of knowledge. And the people who come in the future will have no context behind their religion, right? They're going to lose out on all this information. So what he decided to do a compilation. So if you look at the screen, I've done the word Sunnah 3 times, and I've drawn some nice arrows going towards 3 different things. So the first one, the top, represents the Sunnah in recorded form, right? So this was basically where, the Sunnah was the explanation of the Quran. That way. The second is Sunnah in Hadith form, meaning transmitted statements. And the third is Sunnah in practice, right?